Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Today in African History with Baba Shaka. Of course, I'm Baba Shaka, and today is the 2nd of January 2021, and this is our second edition in what we hope will become a total of 365 editions of Today in African History. Today we're going to focus on the life and works of one of our ancestors, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Now, some of you may be familiar with Dr. Welsing. For others of you, this may be a brief introduction to this great lady. Dr. Welsing was born Frances Luella Cress in Chicago on March 18, 1935. Her father, Dr. Henry N. Cress, was a physician, and her mother, Ida Mae Griffin, was a teacher. In 1957, Dr. Welsing earned a BS degree at Antioch College and in 1962 received an MD at Howard University School of Medicine. In the 1960s, Dr. Welsing moved to Washington, D.C. and worked at many hospitals, especially children's hospitals. While Dr. Welsing was an assistant professor at Howard University, she formulated her first body of work in 1969, the Cress Theory of Color Confrontation, and self-published it in 1970. The paper subsequently appeared in the May 1974 edition of the Black Scholar. This was an introduction to her thoughts that would be developed in the ISIS paper. 22 years later, she released the ISIS paper, a compilation of essays she had written about global and local race relations. The name the Isis paper was inspired by an ancient Egyptian goddess. Isis was the sister/wife of the most significant god Osiris. According to Dr. Welsing, all the names of the gods were significant. However, also according to Dr. Welsing, Osiris means Lord of the Perfect Black. Dr. Welsing specifically chose the name Isis for her admiration of truth and justice that allowed for justice to be stronger than gold and silver. In this book, she talks about the genocide of people of color globally, along with issues Black people in the United States face. According to Dr. Welsing, the genocide of people of color is caused by white people's inability to produce melanin. The minority status of whites has caused what she calls a preoccupation with white genetic survival. She believes that injustice caused by racism will end when non-white people worldwide recognize, analyze, understand, and discuss openly the genocidal dynamic. She also tackled issues such as drug use, murder, teen pregnancy, infant mortality, incarceration, and unemployment in the Black community. According to Dr. Welsing, the cause of these issues is her definition of racism/white supremacy. Black men are at the center of Dr. Welsing's discussion because, according to her, they have the greatest potential to cause white genetic annihilation. In the ISIS paper, she described white people as the genetically defective descendants of albino mutants. She wrote that due to this defective mutation, they may have been forcibly expelled from Africa, among other possibilities. Racism, in the views of Dr. Welsing, is a conspiracy to ensure white genetic survival. She attributed AIDS and addiction to crack cocaine and other substances to chemical and biological warfare by white people. Dr. Welsing created the definition of racism, which is her theory of non-white genocide globally. She refers to racism and white supremacy synonymously. Her definition is racism, quote, white supremacy is the local and global power system dynamic structured and maintained by those who classify themselves as white, whether consciously or subconsciously. And this system consists of patterns of perception, logic, symbol formation, thought, speech, action, emotional response, as conducted simultaneously in all areas of people activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. The ultimate purpose of this system is to ensure white genetic survival and to prevent white genetic annihilation on Earth, a planet in which the overwhelming majority of people are classified as non-white, whether black, brown, red, and yellow, by white-skinned people. All of the non-white people are genetically dominant in terms of skin coloration compared to the genetic recessive white-skinned people. Dr. Welsing was against white supremacy and the emasculation of black men. By December 30th, 2015, Dr. Welsing suffered 2 strokes and was placed in critical care at a Washington University area hospital. She joined the ancestors on January 2nd, 2016, at the age of 80. I highly recommend that you get to know this great lady more intimately. I highly recommend that you read her book, The ISIS Paper. I also highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button just below so that you can be notified whenever we do one or whenever we release one of these videos. Again, this is Today in African History with Baba Shaka. I hope, inshallah, I will see you tomorrow. Masalam.